Hello, Third Ward. My office has received a number of complaints regarding the water bills. A number of residents have had their water service disconnected by the city without knowing if the city was actually following the process. What I would like you to understand is that when it comes to water in the city of Harvey, you have rights. But you are the only ones who can exercise those rights. The purpose of this address is to discuss those rights and hope you will take action to protect yourself and your family. Please note, this is not legal advice. If you need legal advice, please contact an attorney. Now let's move on to our discussion. First, the rules regarding Harvey Water Service is found in the Harvey Municipal Code, Chapter 13-04, Water Service System. Under the code, water service may be terminated where any person violates any ordinance, rule, or regulation of plumbing requirements. Termination of service shall occur in accordance with the procedures set forth in Section 13-04-280. Therefore, in order to find out what to do in event of a water termination, we must look at Section 13-04-280 of the Municipal Code. Now let's take a look. In the event the charges for water supplied are not paid within 30 days after issuance of the bills for which such water service has been supplied, such charges shall be deemed and declared to be delinquent. So you have 30 days after the issuance of the water bill before such charges are delinquent. Now this is important because of what comes next. Immediately upon the delinquency of a statement for water charges, the superintendent of the water department shall notify the customer prior to termination of service. Said notice of termination shall include the proposed date of termination and a brief description of the procedure for challenging the termination as set forth in this section. Remember, water charges are not delinquent until after they are not paid within 30 days after issuance of the bill. So based on this reading, the notification to the customer of termination must come after 30 days. Any notice prior to 30 days may be considered improper notice. Now let me explain why this is important. It is all based on the rules. The superintendent of the water department or his designee shall send notice to the customer prior to termination of service by certified or registered mail. That certified or registered mail is important because the city needs to be able to show that you received the notice. But it does not end there. Notice of termination shall set forth the proposed date of termination and notify the customer that he has 10 days within which to challenge termination of service as being unjustified by written notice to the superintendent of the water department. That's your right. You have 10 days to challenge termination of service. Let's continue. Because there is more. The superintendent of the water department, upon receipt of a customer's challenge to termination of service, shall schedule a hearing on the challenge. The superintendent or his designee shall hold the hearing and render a final decision thereon. The customer may be present at the hearing with counsel, may cross-examine witnesses, may offer witnesses and evidence, and may present defenses to the termination. All testimony shall be taken under oath. You have another right. You have a right to a hearing on your challenge. You have a right to have an attorney. You have a right to cross-examine witnesses, offer witnesses and evidence, and you may present defenses to the termination. You can ask questions such as, was the water bill increase approved by City Council? There are many questions you can ask. Finally, and just as important, all testimony shall be taken under oath. This is important because of what comes next. In the event a decision to terminate service is rendered, the customer may appeal said decision to the superintendent based upon the record at the hearing, and said superintendent shall render a decision thereon. There appears to be no procedure for appealing a decision to the superintendent. This appears to present a problem because if there is no procedure, then where is the due process? The superintendent renders a final decision. So please understand, the hearing with the superintendent of water is an administrative action. The decision made by the superintendent is an administrative decision. You may have a right to an administrative review in the Cook County courts. Please do not get excited by the thought of going to court. If you cannot afford the filing fee, you may fill out a 298 petition and may have your fees waived. Just ask the clerk at the courthouse for the form. Also, throughout this video, we will list organizations who may be able to assist if you cannot afford an attorney. But let's continue. Illinois State Law 735 is part of the Illinois Code of Civil Procedure. It is the Illinois law. It states that every action to review a final administrative decision shall be commenced by the filing of a complaint and the issuance of summons within 35 days from the date that a copy of the decision sought to be reviewed was served upon the party affected by the decision. Under the law, the court has the right to affirm or reverse the superintendent of water decision. The court may take other action. This, however, depends on each individual case. One thing you should know for sure is this: you have rights. Now, what happens if your water is turned off and you want it turned on again? Let's look at what the code says about it. According to the code, there shall be paid prior to renewal of water service after disconnection by the superintendent for delinquency, or at the request of the user, a charge to cover the cost of shutting off and turning on the water as follows. For the first renewal of water service for a user, $10. For the second renewal of the water service for the same user, $20. For the third renewal of the water service for the same user, $30. Residents have complained about being charged $100 for reconnection of services. So why pay $100 for reconnection of water services when the Harvey Code says it is less? Ask questions, demand answers, demand proof. Request a copy of the ordinance showing that you have to pay $100 for water reconnection. The $100 charge is not in the current code, so if it has not been published for everyone to see and have notice, then why should you have to pay it? So let's recap what we have so far. As water consumers, you have the right to notice of termination by registered or certified mail, 10 days to challenge termination, a scheduled hearing on the challenge, appeal, judicial review in the Cook County courts. Ask for a 298 petition. If you qualify, then court filing fees may be waived according to the current Harvey Code. Reconnection fees are $10 for the first reconnection, $20 for the second reconnection, $30 for the third reconnection. If you are told the laws have changed, then ask for a copy of the new law. Ask for the council minutes adopting the new law. Ask for the city clerk's signature and seal to document and certify that these documents are authentic. Forward that information to my office. We will try to help. The information you have seen comes from the published Harvey Municipal Code. I have presented to you what I have received from the City of Harvey. If you would like to see this information for yourself, visit www.harveycityclerk.org and click on Municipal Codes. All of this information is for your knowledge. Remember, it is not legal advice. If you need legal advice, please contact an attorney. But with this knowledge, you should be better armed to deal with your water bills and a potential shutoff. As I said in the beginning of this address, you are the only ones who can exercise these rights. This week, my office was informed that one of our residents exercised this right. That resident was successful. If you are tired of these high water bills that were not approved by City Council, then exercise your rights. If you are tired of being told you have a leak in your home as an explanation for your high water bill, then exercise your rights. If you are tired of having more a month at the end of the money, then exercise your rights. This is not about me. It's all about us. As I stated in my last weekly address, I cannot do all of this by myself, but I am willing to take that journey with you. But until you do something, I can guarantee you one thing: nothing will change without you. Thanks again for watching. Share this address with your family and friends. Do something. And remember, unity begins with you.